All right, y'all ain't no half stepping with Marcus J is live. We are in the building after taking a week off. We are back here live. We got a lot to get into the show tonight. Of course, we got to start off the show talking about the legend that we lost a couple of days ago with the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. So we're going to talk about that. What's going on with all of these slave movies? A lot of folks are tired of them, and some folks have issues with the folks who have issues. We're going to talk about that. I love you. What does that mean to you? We're going to talk about that. And SY is back with her trivia segment that is sure to get you stumped and ready to giggle your ass off. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J is live right now.
It's about that time. It's about that time to get
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If they lying,
they must be half stepping.
ain't no half stepping with Marcus J is live. We're back in the building. Be down with us at 804-402-2893. Be down with the flagship show heard live from the Den of Legacy Internet Radio. Thanking everybody for rocking with us tonight. We appreciate you rocking with us. You rock with us. We're going to roll with y'all. Thank you to those folks that are listening to the live stream directly from the website. We got that squared away so you can listen to the show right from the website. Thank you to those folks that are listening to us right now live on TuneIn, on Streamer. Thank you to those folks that are listening to the replays as well. Thank you to those folks on YouTube and iTunes. As I mentioned before, you rocking with us, we rolling with y'all. So let's go around the room and get the salutations out of the way before we get into the actual show. First up, you hear our sister join us when we have an opportunity to have her. Longtime contributor to Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J, as well as Legacy Internet Radio. My sister and yours. What's up, Bless?
Not a thing. I'm first up. This is crazy.
Yeah, you first up.
I'm the second or the third one, but I'm the first one today.
You leading off. And, you know, if you're a baseball fan like me, you say I got the game on, you know that the leadoff player is very important. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Not a thing. I just did my 3-mile walk around downtown Richmond, so I'm kind of hyped, even though it don't seem like it right now.
3-mile walk?
Yeah,
we got to talk about that. What's going on with that? What's up with that?
Just trying to keep the weight down, you know.
3-mile walk?
Yeah, I got to do something.
So where's 3 miles around downtown Richmond? Like, where are you walking?
If you take a walk downtown and go down by the canal, you can cross underneath of the bridge and go to Bell's Isle. You can walk around Browns Island you walk up and down the hills by the Virginia War Memorial. You can walk down to nearby Fulton Bottom. There's plenty of places you can walk. So
I could dig it. Now, are you walking is it like you walking from one business place to another business place, or is this all leisure walk?
Just leisure. Get it,
girl. I can dig it.
Trying to do it.
I can dig it. Well, I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. Keep getting your walk on and whatnot, and keep on doing it. Keeping it moving around the room. We got our sister Shayna, our clairvoyant medium, is up in this joint. What's up, Shayna?
Hi, Marcus.
There you go. There you go. What's up, Shayna? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
You all right?
I'm beyond all right. I'm doing fantastic.
Well, I can dig it.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you here, as we are every time we have an opportunity to have you. When are we coming back with our next official visit?
The Lightworker segment?
The Lightworker segment?
June the 27th.
That's right.
Yes, so. And Steven, he has something.
Lucia,
yes. Shout out to Lucia.
Of course.
Awesome fire healer.
Keeping it moving around the room. my brother, Mr. 3375. What's going on, brother?
Good, man. Fresh from Red Lobster with my mini-me, man.
Word.
That's why
Red
I run a
Lobster?
little late.
That's why you got that big ass grin on your face.
Man, it's always good to spend time with my son, man. It always put me in a good mood no matter how my day going, man.
Well, that's good, man. I'm glad that you in a good mood. You ready to have a dope show?
Dope show.
Let's do
Let's
it.
roll.
And of course, the co-host of Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. You heard her on the intro.
What's the growl for? Though?
My big sis and yours. Not real sure what the growl was, but my sister S Y Butler. What's up, yo?
Hey.
Yeah, you live streaming now. It took me a minute to get the live
What's
stream
up,
up, but
y'all?
it's up right now.
Hey, Hakeem.
There goes the flirtation. What's up, big sis?
Nothing. What's going on? What's going on? You can answer. You can still answer me. He told
See,
me
now
what
you're
to
going
do.
to see me trying
He
to
told
produce
me
it
what to
another
do.
way, and she's going to embarrass me on the. I can't stand you
man.
sometimes, man.
So,
Stink.
3375. I took off the mister because I heard the growl. What's your malfunction? Oh, exactly.
Oh, I was about to say something, but
Yeah.
He just came from
Don't be
Red
about it. If you got something to say it. We could take it outside.
no, because
What?
you got the piece. I ain't got my piece.
Glad you know. But nope, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, she
I'm
just
excited for
she
today.
just hyped because she actually in here at the beginning of the show officially since was it 2 shows ago? Two shows ago. So we got her
Y'all
officially.
should have seen Marcus's face when I told him I was gonna be here now.
I was
at
like, damn.
7 o'clock.
Damn,
No, you wasn't. You was like, for real, big sis. Really, big sis.
I never do that.
Yes, you did.
No, I don't.
Yes, you
Nah,
Yes, you
nah.
did. It was a combination of you and that little character from the Peanuts.
Oh damn!
Which
see,
character from the Peanuts?
the
Is
one.
it Franklin?
I think the
Who
one
does
that
the
one
dance?
that does the weird dance. You know,
The
when he does
dude?
like this.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
So it was a combination.
Yeah,
of both.
yeah.
You was doing it.
Yeah.
You was glad I was gonna be here. You was
Is that the only black guy in Peanuts?
I think
I
it
think so.
is.
Mhm.
And they made him a dancer.
That or ball player.
So ironic.
Yeah, well, be glad he ain't doing graffiti somewhere. You know what I mean?
True.
You know what I mean?
I got fun for y'all tonight. Are y'all ready?
No.
I got fun for y'all tonight.
What's the fun?
Trivia.
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna tell y'all what kind of trivia.
Yes, sir.
But I'll give you a clue when the time comes.
When the time comes, are we gonna live stream that? Is that okay? Are we good?
Yes.
We gonna live stream it?
Yes.
All right, cool. So that the folks who are checking us out on the live stream can see how wild out we get when we get
Yeah.
into the
Trivia.
the trivia
Yep,
segment.
y'all
So,
can watch me give y'all the questions to stump you.
all right. We see where this is going. All right. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be a part of the discussion. The phone lines are now officially open. And I guess I want to open up the show with the loss of the legend, the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, on Friday evening. And, you know, there's a few things that I kind of want to kind of talk about, and hopefully those things will come out in the course of the discussion. I've got various clips and such of the champ that I'll play throughout the night, and I'll speak more what my thoughts are on the champion as we get to it.
Really?
Oh my
but-
God! Come over here. Let me step on him like we did in high school.
You got to get him up higher than that, baby. If you kick any higher, you're gonna be up.
I know if you kick my beverage over trying to show everybody off them fine whites, and we're gonna have a problem. He
I
got.
didn't know what he was
Muhammad Ali
doing.
I'm not sure what he was doing. Okay, so I thought he was.
I
showing-
thought he was trying to kick like a showgirl. I didn't know.
I thought.
God, it was getting real
Oh
over.
yeah, those are nice. Those are nice.
I thought he was showing off.
I didn't know what was going
I thought he
on.
was showing off the brand new Air Force Ones.
I thought
but he's
that was-
actually showing us his Muhammad Ali socks.
Muhammad Ali socks.
I didn't.
Bro,
I
you
didn't
should
get
have
it.
warned us or something.
Yeah, he
We
just
needed a
threw his
warning.
leg up like, what the
thought I
hell?
could get my leg up there, but
One leg
I
up
thought you
and
was
your booty on the floor.
Hey, look,
doing
man,
a move or something.
you're not as young as you used to be. Be
yeah,
careful.
it didn't work too well.
Yeah, man.
So your feet feel good?
So since you got the mic, you up first. What's your thoughts on the champ? Obviously, you got the socks on, so you know what we lost. What's your thoughts?
We lost a great person. At the end of the day, I think everybody in the last couple of years knew it was just a matter of time because of his health problems. He changed the whole game of boxing because he just came after everybody. And what a lot of people don't know is he was doing that because he wanted to sell tickets. So that's why he was allowed to do all these things. He was outspoken, but he was also, sticking to his guns about, going to the military and civil rights movement and everything. So he played a big part in all of that too.
Not going to the military.
Not going to the military. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's going to be greatly missed, man.
Bless, what you think?
Unfortunately, I probably am the only person in here who has not seen a whole Ali fight, and
that's cool.
I love boxing. Don't get me wrong, but I mean,
no, you're definitely not the only person.
From what I saw, from what I know about him, is the movie with Will Smith.
Right.
Unfortunately, I saw that he was friends with El Hajj Malik Shabazz, otherwise known as Malcolm X. He was outspoken. From what I do see the quotes and things that people are posting on Facebook. My comments about his death, though, is that the people that so-called don't like Muslims or people that are a part of the Nation of Islam are the same people that are saying rest in peace to the greatest of all time and seem to forget what he has said and what he was standing up for. So I just find that to be ironic.
I can dig it. I would tend to agree with that. Shout out to my brother Sug is checking us out in the live stream. What's up, brother? Jersey City brother there. And shout out to our sister Katrina here in the RVA, Cap City. She's checking us out as well. So thank you for checking us out. What you think, Shayna, the champ?
I am a fan of Layla Ali. She's like everything to me. I love her. Her father was a legend. He was awesome. He was, he said what he wanted to say, when he wanted to say it, how he wanted to say it. I loved his confidence. He was an amazing person. And what he stood for, he really had a voice for the people because he really didn't care. So I just, I'm very thankful for his legacy that he left behind for everybody to, follow. He's an amazing person, and he transcended. He's probably happy.
Pain-free. Yeah. Yep. For me, I didn't follow him too much. I did start watching boxing, though, because of him. My dad would come in and whatever we were watching at night or, have friends over, and that's the fight. It was Cassius Clay. So that's how I remember. That's how I started, knowing his name or whatever. But
just go ahead and date yourself.
I didn't. Hey, I don't mind. But anyway, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't follow him that much. But I definitely know that it's still a loss at that.
Shout out to our brother K-Dub down in the ATLs,
K-Dub.
checking us out. Shout out to my brother. I want to give everybody an opportunity, and I'm going to be doing this all night, so hopefully you guys will indulge me. But take a listen to this clip that I'm going to play where he talks about his decision to not go to war. Check this out, y'all. See what y'all think about this, and we'll talk about it.
Ali defeated Foley by a knockout in the 7th round. Immediately thereafter, he walked into the teeth of a monumental decision. He was drafted, and then he refused induction on the grounds of his religious convictions on war.
My conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some darker people or some poor, hungry people in the mud for big, powerful America and shoot them for what? They never called me nigger. They never lynched me. They never put no dogs on me. They never robbed me of my nationality, raped and killed my mother and father. What, I'm going to shoot them for what? How am I going to shoot them? Them little poor little black people, little babies and children and women. How can I shoot them poor people? Just take me to jail.
While fighting imprisonment for his stand, Ali was also stripped of his title, denied a license to fight in the United States, and denied a visa to go overseas to fight. He was in a much tighter financial bind than most were aware of.
I don't want to see the world heavyweight champion driving the Volkswagen, guys in the Cadillacs and making fun of you. So I'm working today, I'm hauling, right? And so one day I had to speak at Canisius. Heard of Canisius? Canisius, Fairleigh Dickinson, C.W. Post. 3 colleges at $1,500 a college. Pretty good money. So I broke my wife's piggy bank. She had about $35 in it. $135. I broke the piggy bank to get gas money to get me to the college. And I got enough gas and food money to get the $4,500, the $1,500 lecture. At $45 would hold me, pay gas bills, light bills, till I get to the next college. This went on until that whole mess was over.
Inevitably, students would challenge Ali on his stand and his convictions. Remarkably, Ali more than held his own against students who had a far better formal education than he.
I'm saying you talking about me about some draft, and all of you white boys are breaking your neck to get to Switzerland and Canada and London. I'm not going to help nobody get something my Negroes don't have. If I'm going to die, I'll die now, right here fighting you. If I'm going to die, you my enemy. My enemy is the white people, not Viet Congs or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home.
You hear that, right? Ain't no hashtag Mark said. You hear that, big sis? You hear that?
I'm laughing to myself how he broke the bank so he can get to school, but he got his gas.
Yeah.
He means business. When he wants to do what he wants to do, he gets it done.
Yeah. He broke the piggy bank so that he can get money.
His wife's
piggy bank.
It won't his.
Yeah, he broke his wife's piggy bank to get gas money to go do some speaking engagements so he can feed his family.
He can do it. So
yeah,
hey, I can dig it. Whatever by any means necessary.
Yeah, no doubt.
For not fighting in the wars. Imagine if most of us used our morals to stand up for what we believe in. Can you imagine?
And we're vocal about it.
Yeah. So that was a damn good thing. He believed, that's what he felt, and he stood by it. You could do what you want after that. Those are his beliefs.
Right.
I love it.
What you think, Shannon?
He was a true humanitarian. Anybody at that moment wouldn't, no one, they just wouldn't break all of that down in that moment. He was thinking about people's kids and families, killing poor people.
In another country.
Country. He wasn't even thinking about himself. He wasn't thinking about getting money. I'm pretty sure they offered him a lot of money.
Right.
I mean, being who he was, and they want him to fight. Of course he's going to fight. You know what I'm saying? Of course he's going to be like a big asset to the United States. So he stood up to the United States. That's big.
Yeah, he stood up to the United
big.
States government, and at the end of the day, he took some shots, but he ended up winning. I mean, he lost 3 years, 3.5, 4 years of his career.
What's 3 years? Those are his 3 years.
What you believe
Yep.
in.
Right.
Absolutely.
So he had to go through having nothing.
And there's a piece in there, where he knew the consequences of his actions. Like, I can go to jail and take me to jail. Yeah, and I think it's important that we acknowledge, Blessed, that we're not dealing with a draft dodger here. There's a lot of people that want to call him a draft dodger. Bill Clinton is a draft dodger. Donald Trump is a draft dodger. People like them are draft dodgers, where they do everything they can to not be drafted, or people that leave the country and things of that sort. This was a man who took a stand and said, I'm not going, and do what you got to do, but I'm not going.
George Bush also was a draft dodger. I read a book once about the Vietnam War, and the biggest casualty, the race with the biggest casualty was which one? The black people. So why is a group of poor people going to another country, just like Muhammad Ali said, and killing other poor people for something that was never done to us? If there was any disagreement or any problems, it was with white America.
Right.
It was with the government of the United States. It wasn't with us.
Right.
We ain't had no problems with no Vietnam.
Right.
I mean,
and they'll
most
make
of us
it,
probably didn't even know where it was until we got there.
Yeah, how about that?
The truth. I'm going somewhere to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just it's just to piggyback on what you're saying. I mean, the craziest thing in the world is when you consider the power that the powers that be have, where not just the draft and things of that sort, because those people, they ain't sending their kids. It's never like that. But it's like the whole thing with voting. You know, you got millionaires that have poor people fighting over which millionaire you want to take advantage of you.
Absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? Mr. 3375, jump in here, brother. What's your thoughts, man?
I think as far as black people in the military along that time, I think they felt like they didn't have a choice to go in, because you know as the government, if you're in the military, they're going to take care of your family.
Are they?
They ain't doing a good job of that now.
How many came back that were on drugs and their families weren't taken care of?
Exactly, but when you come back,
I feel what you're saying.
When you come back, they find out that, you know, my pops got shot in Vietnam. He's never been right since, you know. But for him to take that stand, it was one of the most powerful things in that era. And what they tried to do was break him, and they couldn't break him. So after that 3 years, after everything was over, what happened? He got back in the ring and still became the greatest athlete to ever step in the ring.
You can't do nothing but respect.
You know what I'm saying?
The average black man wouldn't have been able to do that.
To break him.
Average man, regardless of his color, wouldn't have been able to do that. Shout out to our sister Michelle K, our brother Edward, our sister Shelly, Wizzy, and Jane are all checking us out. So shout out to everybody that's checking us out. Those folks were checking out the live stream on Facebook. You know what I want to kind of get into, Shane, I want you to kind of address this first. The fact that Muhammad Ali in the 60s and 70s up into the 80s was, quite frankly, the most hated man in America. Yeah. Certainly the most hated black man, and probably the most hated man in America. And when he's buried this week, he's going to basically be buried almost like how they would bury ex-presidents, with the accolades that are going to be heaped upon him throughout the next few days. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts about how he was hated to now so beloved.
It's so crazy you asked me that question, because I was just sitting at the bar and they're selling tickets to his funeral. I seen on ESPN they was doing like a big thing on him, and I think it was to the Muslim goodbye. I can't really get it, but I know it was on the TV, and we was talking about it at the bar. I just couldn't believe that, like, someone passed away and you capitalized on his funeral. You might want to look that up, but that was really weird. But you know, his legacy will live on regardless of how everyone feel, even regardless of how people feel about Muslims. Even people who dislike Muslims loved Muhammad Ali.
Right. No, I can dig that. Mr. 3375, jump in here, brother.
I was still tripping when they said they were selling tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sent me for a while.
Everything you said after that, like I was still stuck on.
That's how my
they were selling tickets
too. I was like, what?
Yo, that's
it
crazy.
It was kind of crazy, yeah.
But as time tells us, when a big celebrity dies, people cash in. Right. It happened with Michael. It happened with Whitney. It happened with Prince. Now it's happening with Muhammad Ali. So, I mean, that's something that you can't control. People's going to cash in on the money, but, I mean, it's the way, it's what it is.
From what I just looked up, guess who's the person selling the tickets for Muhammad Ali's?
Do I even want to know?
Do you think? Take a guess.
I'm gonna be so mad, and I'm gonna be mad.
Well, it might not be true because I did not click on it. However, boxing promoter Don King is selling tickets.
Yes, he's doing
Are you
it
surprised?
For $20,000 a seat.
It was on ESPN. It was on ESPN.
I mean, if it's there in black, if it's there in black and white, then I certainly won't dispute it. But I spent 20 minutes this morning listening to Don King talk about his friend Muhammad Ali, and
he's capitalizing on his death.
And they were friends. And if you listen to the interview that I listened to him do on Mike and Mike this morning, you know, if you heard the interview that I heard this morning, then you would see why I'm shocked at that, because it doesn't sound like those two go together. And we know who Don King is. Nobody's under any illusions with knowing who he is. But if you listen to the interview that I heard this morning and then hearing that, I'm a little bit in my feelings about that, because that's just outrageous to me.
And what's supposed to happen with the money?
I hadn't clicked on it. That's all.
If you don't
mind,
if you can take a minute and just kind of investigate that for us, and then if you see something, jump back in here and tell us a little bit. Big Sis, tell us your thoughts on how he can go from the most hated to one of the most beloved.
Well, he was most hated probably because he gave pushback. Nobody wants that. They don't want to hear that. But look at what he's done.
Right.
Look how far he's become with his career. He became number one. He spoke out. He let you know who he was. He was Muhammad Ali, and he lets you know that. He never backed down from anything. You really, like I said earlier, you had no choice but to respect somebody like that. You have no choice at the end but to give him his props.
And you know how Steppin with Marcus J live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. You're on the live line. Caller, what's your name? What you want to call about?
Hi, Marcus. It's Jane. How are you?
Jane, what's up, Jane?
Jane.
How you doing?
I'm good. The reason I called in is I know you guys are talking about Muhammad Ali, and I have the greatest story. I got to meet the man once.
Did you?
What?
Now, before you tell the story, before you tell the story, if you can tell us, start the story with what era it was, approximately the year, so that we can conceptualize which Muhammad Ali we're talking about here.
1986,
Okay.
85, somewhere like that.
So he was still lucid. Okay, I got you. Go ahead, tell us the story.
And I was doing a temp job, actually, in McLean, Virginia. And the job was for one day, and I was the assistant to the president of the bank. And it was a Friday, I'll never forget that, and I'm sitting there, and the president comes up to me. He says, "We're closing the bank because we have a really important VIP coming in." And I'm like, okay. I mean, they didn't tell me who or whatever. And they closed the bank, and then they opened a special door, and walks in is this entourage of people. And the last person to walk in was Muhammad Ali, and he was doing some banking there.
Get out of town.
This is what was amazing, though. His people walked up and they had boxes, and I didn't know what the boxes were. And one of them reached inside and handed me a Quran and said, "Would you like one?" And I said, "Oh, of course, I would love it." And Muhammad Ali walked up to me and he goes, "Would you like me to sign it for you?" And I said, "Yes." And I still have it. I still have it to this day.
Are
and
you
I'll have to bring it in the next
Yay.
Oh, yeah.
That is so beautiful.
You
that
gotta
was
let
the
us
best
see that.
story.
That is so awesome.
And he was the nicest person. He couldn't have been sweeter. He wrote, I think he wrote in there, "To Jane something, love Muhammad Ali." I'll show it to you guys.
Jane,
and it was
that's
just,
probably worth over.
my heart, and I loved this man. He was, and everybody, all his people around him were just so generous and sweet. And everybody gave me a hug when they left, and they were just the nicest people. And
wait, you
I've had this
showered
book,
after
and
he
the
hugged
people
you?
that know me, I show it. People come over, start talking about sports people, and I was like, "Well, I have Cal Ripken's autograph." I said, "I have Muhammad Ali's autograph." And they're like, "You do not?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And I showed them the book.
That is
and
so
it's just
awesome.
it just hit me this week when he passed, and I said, I heard you guys talking. I said, I've got to call in and tell them this story.
That's an awesome story,
Jane.
Yes.
Are you telling me that you got a hug from Muhammad Ali and you showered?
I have to tell you, he's an enormous man. And his sweetness, and just this. I mean, Shana, you talking about energy and positiveness and love. He's just the sweetest man, and didn't talk very softly.
Yeah.
He was not like a loud talker like he did when he was boxing, but just a sweet man. Just
Jane,
love.
you better
Just
keep this
one of the
Quran.
greatest people.
You better keep this Quran forever, Jane. That Quran is probably going to be
some
worth
I know.
so much money, Jane.
The crazy,
this is
crazy,
yours.
the crazy part about it is,
I'll bring it in next month when I'm on with you guys.
On the
But,
27th, Jane. It's
Yep,
the 27th of this month.
Jane, thank you so much
cool.
thank you so much for calling and sharing that story.
But I had to share that.
Thank you. For,
Oh, it was a beautiful story.
Thank you for calling and sharing it, Jane. Have a good night and keep listening, okay?
Okay, I will, sweetie.
All right,
Thank you. Bye.
Take it easy. Bye. And you know how Steppin Marcus. That's an awesome story.
Yeah,
that's
That
an
was
awesome
amazing story.
I've got my thoughts on the hate and love thing, and then I have my own story. It's not my story. It's a story that I grew up with, and I'll share that here in just a moment. But as far as the hate versus the love, you know, the colossal arrogance and hypocrisy of the United States never, ever, ever ceases to amaze me. When this man was universally vilified by most of America, the media, the people, they hated him. Like, they hated him because of a lot of things. One, you had this loud talking black man. They ain't used to that. You know, one. Two, he beat up everybody. They ain't used to that. Three, he beat up everybody, and he told you he was going to beat up everybody loudly.
And he was
and he's going to win, and they didn't like that. And then not only did he do all of that, but then he rejected Christian values and became a Muslim in this country in the 60s.
Yeah.
And he joined, not only did he become a Muslim, but he joined the Nation of Islam and was hanging out with Malcolm X. Like, let's do if we're going to eulogize him, let's keep it 100. Let's talk about what actually happened. And then, after having done all of that, he told them to take their war and shove it.
Yep.
This is basically what he did. Universally hated. You know, he got back in the ring and all of that kind of stuff. But make no mistake, they hated this dude. And they had to refer to this dude under a Muslim name. Like, I think folks, you had to because that's his name. Because not only was he checking folks for that, but, you know, he was telling people, like, if you don't say my name, I'm going to beat your ass in the ring and make you say it in the ring. Like, this is what he was doing. Like, that's the shit we doing. That's hood. Like, that's hood.
But they had to because they knew he was a moneymaker. At the end of the day, they was like, yo, the money was coming with him.
It always comes back to that. But
that's what it was all about at the end of the day.
Let me finish my point on that, because it's really important to understand when the turn for him becoming beloved started. Yeah. It started in the 80s and 90s when his communication level started waning. When he was no longer able to articulate himself, that is when he becomes universally loved. Now, make no mistake about this either. Muhammad Ali never changed. America changed. The media changed. White people changed. Black people changed. Muhammad Ali never changed. He was the same dude. What you think he would have said about Rodney King in 1991 if he was able to? What you think he would have said about the L.A. riots a year later if he was able to? What you think he would have said in 1998 when they blew up the building in New York City? What you think he would have said about 9/11 in 2001 if he was able to? What you think he would have said in 2008 when we elected Barack Hussein Obama as our president if he was able to? Now, of course, he can say little things here and there. I'm not minimizing him being able to say things. But for him to not be able to communicate in the manner in which we knew him, it kind of softened his image. But it didn't soften the man. Right. He never changed.
His legacy will be the same, regardless of, you know, his image being softened. They're still going to know him as.
I just think the hypocrisy of this man being universally beloved by everybody, and these are the same people that'll tell you that all Muslims are terrible, and all Muslims want to kill you, and they all want jihad. And not only is he a Muslim, but he was a member of the Nation of Islam. It's like, come on, man. I just think that it's crazy. And I'm just, you know, the hypocrisy of it all is just kind of funny to me. And I love the fact that, you know, he was ours. He was ours. Blessed.
All right, I have to correct the last website that I had got where it said Don King was selling the tickets was a satirical website. CNN and the Louisville, Kentucky newscast says that there will be 14,000 free tickets available on a first-come, first-served basis at the Freedom Hall on Tuesday at 10 o'clock. So they're going to have the service on Thursday, the Janazah service at Freedom Hall on Thursday. It's 14,000 free tickets.
So it's not for sale.
It's not for sale.
Not for sale. So that was satire. And a lot of those websites, you know, are satirical, and unfortunately they come in at the worst possible moment because they prey upon folks
like
who,
us.
Like us.
Looking.
Yeah. Just looking.
On top of what you were saying about the world that we live in now, things happen and everybody has to comment on it. So everybody's going to have something good to say because it's trending, or they can have something bad to say so that they can get a response and all of that good stuff. In a world where Prince dies and everybody acts like they know every Prince song ever made.
Right.
Okay.
Why would we expect anything?
Have a CD.
Right.
Why would we expect anything less when Ali dies?
One more thing I want to do. I want to play one more clip, and then we're going to finish up Ali and move on to another subject. But this piece came out a couple days ago in the ashes of his death, and there's a little bit of commentary, but it's mostly Ali talking about his faith and why he rejected the war. Take a listen.
But a lot of us who came up in that era remember him saying Cassius Clay was my slave name and insisting on his new name. And the almost universally white news and sports media took a long time to climb on board that bandwagon and fall in with the program. And if you were a kid my age, the first time you ever heard the expression conscientious objector was when Ali said he wouldn't go to Vietnam. I just want to hear his voice for a moment on that incident particularly.
There haven't been very many Negroes in this country who have protested the draft in the sense that they have gone in and fought. Do you think that you are setting some kind of an example that perhaps some of them may even...
I'm not out to set no example for nobody to follow. I'm a Muslim. I'm with 600 more million who believe the same as me, and I'm just sticking to my religious beliefs in the Holy Quran, which was there before, long before I was thought about coming into this world. I'm just following my religious beliefs. I'm not advising them or telling them nothing to do. I'm just following my religious beliefs to the death right now. I die right now. Whatever happens will be the will of Allah. Many parts of the world, the people are protesting, but still, I mean, I don't rely on that. I rely totally on Allah, the Lord of the worlds.
Just how far would you go to keep from taking up arms?
I'll die. It's anything that's against my religious beliefs. I'd rather face machine gun fire before deviate from the teachings of Almighty God and the religion of Islam. I would die.
Well, in this situation, you wouldn't have to die. It would mean that you'd go to jail if you refused to take up arms.
I'm not saying where I will go. I'm just letting you know that I'm going to stick 1,000% to my religious beliefs, even if it means die. You figure out the rest.
1967, we were a different country then. The evening newscasts were full of pictures of this escalating conflict in Southeast Asia. Life and Look and Time magazine, color photography of our then young boys fighting and dying in Southeast Asia. Those words were very controversial, especially those of us who grew up in military families, and that began kind of a journey. Fans of Muhammad Ali getting there. Later in life, they had their problems with his position on the war, conscientious objector status, later borne out a vote by the Supreme Court unanimous years later on his side.
Has Steppin with Marcus J. All right, so we talked a little bit about how he's not interested in worrying about anybody trying to follow him based on his religion. He talked a little bit about, his religion, that sort of thing, which sparked a little bit of a conversation here in the room with Blessed and I. We were talking about the fact that he went to not. I got a little bit distracted. My apologies. The fact that he did not leave with Malcolm X from the Nation of Islam. We talked a little bit about that.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that, Bless? We talked about it in the break. Can you share a little bit about what we talked about?
Well, it was said that he was regretful about not leaving with the Malcolm X. And, of course, we know close to the end of Malcolm X's life when he took his Hajj to Mecca, it kind of changed his thoughts on black people in Islam, because he went to Mecca and saw all these different people of different colors serving the same gods. They're serving Allah, and it really didn't matter what color their skin was. So that was Malcolm X's take on it. However, at the time, Muhammad Ali didn't want to follow him because he was up under Elijah Muhammad. So right. I was saying, hypothetically, with him losing his ability to speak and whatnot, he did eventually, what you just told me, he did leave the Nation of Islam eventually. Maybe that's another reason why he's become a beloved person. Maybe his stance changed. Right. If he left, more than likely his stance changed on how he felt about black Muslims and having a rift in between black Muslim and every other person in the world. So who's to say that might be another reason why he became so beloved later in his life. Who knows?
I had mentioned also during the break, I think that had he left with Malcolm X, one of two things would have happened. Either neither of them would have gotten killed, or they both would have gotten killed. Because Malcolm X at the time was so polarizing and so ahead of his times. If you listen to some of the things, I mean, a lot of the pre-1960, the pre-November 22nd, 1963, which was the day Kennedy was assassinated, which is basically the beginning of the end for Malcolm because of certain other things that happened. But if you listen to Malcolm after that date, he almost sounds like completely different, but his tone changed.
Right.
His, the way he went about things changed. And Muhammad Ali at the time was 25 years old, hyped up on the adrenaline of the Nation of Islam. And so I think that he would have been wise to stick with his mentor. But the fact that he just didn't. And obviously, we can't rewrite history, but I can dig it. Ain't no half step on Marcus J. Live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. We're going to take our first break of the night, y'all. And when we come back, we're going to talk about something that there's been getting a lot of talk in the last week or so. We didn't get a chance to talk about it because we weren't live last week.
We're going to talk about Harambe.
We're going to get into that later on, but we're going to get into that later on. But we're going to talk about slave movies and roots because there are a lot of people who are tired of slave movies. So we're going to get some commentary on that. And we're absolutely going to talk about the gorilla Harambe, who was murdered in cold blood in the Cincinnati Zoo.
Hey, it sounds like it all goes together. So.
And my tongue is firmly in my cheek on that one. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. I got Big Sis. I got Shane. I got Blessed. I've got Mr. 3375 and a special guest that just stepped in that we'll introduce here in a minute. Marcus J. and the crew. Ain't no hashtag with yours truly. Be back in a minute.
You better put him down. Baby.
This is S.Y. Butler, and you're listening to Legacy Internet Radio, where independence is the key to building your legacy.